Welcome to the Museum of Aquarium and Pet History. Today we have a giant pallet full of treasures for the museum. These came from all over the country, some of them from Europe, and these were collected by our folks in the field for ZoomEd. This particular pallet was from Ben and Tom and Derek, so thank you very much, you three. The rest of the crew also collects stuff all the time during the year. When we have some treasure that goes up at an auction house and we get it, we don't want them to ship it because it's glass, it's fragile. We don't trust the auction houses shipping, so we go and we pick it up ourselves, and then we pack it the correct way, put it on a pallet and ship it to the museum. So I'm here today to open this up, open some of these boxes and show you what treasures are in them. As you can see, we are in front of our restoration studio right here. There's a Mott Aquarium over there sitting in the front, and I will now take the Ninja knife and we will start. All right. Ooh, this is a light one. And as you can tell, it's we're filming this in the afternoon. It's about 64 degrees, and I apologize to those of you in Canada, especially my good friend Honest, who's in Ontario, and it's like below zero. So very sorry about that. Oh, okay, so sometimes we do get duplicates of things. We just did a mid-century modern video on bird cages, so if you haven't seen it, very pleased how that one came out. And I'm sure within a year or two we'll do an update to that video once we get more information. See, what was cool about this cage, this is another mid-century modern bird cage, and this probably was from the late 50s, early 1960s. But look at this little thing that attached to the cage. This basically seed guard. So when the bird was pushing a seed out of the cage, it was caught in this little fabric thing. I mean, I rarely see things like that, so I just thought that was really, really interesting that this had a fabric seed guard, and I wonder if the woman made it that had the cage, or if in fact it was purchased. So the cage is missing its little, the balls that go here to lock down the top, missing the little top part, but we can get that. And of course she put bubble wrap inside of it, but it's got the perches and everything. But that's cool. Mid-century modern bird cage. Late 50s, early 1960s. All right. This is an amazing empty box with very nice wadded newspaper. And sometimes they put an empty box because they need something to fill the space. So, sorry about that. This is really heavy. Probably books, I'm guessing. Books or magazines. Lots of aquarium magazines coming in lately. It's been crazy. Ooh. Atlas Ichthyologicae. This is Bleeker's. This is the reprint of Bleeker's Atlas. And the originals go for thousands of dollars. Oh, this was New York Zoological Society. Oh, interesting. And this was done, of course, by Bleeker, but it would have all these reprint illustrations. And I wonder if this is the text. Oh, no, here we go. So you could see these amazing illustrations of fish done in the, late 1700s, I believe? First part of the 1800s? Oh, look at that, clown loach. And looks like, a zebra loach, and then some other kind of rare type of loach. Very interesting. Great book. Great set of books. Looks like it's got some damage on the covers. Other than that, that's a nice set. That will go to the library. Ooh. All right, next one. Oops. Ooh. All right, so they labeled this one. Good job, guys. Not only did they label it, they double boxed it. Perfect. And notice, large bubble wrap. Large. Always use large for glass, porcelain, ceramic, terracotta, anything that's breakable. Large bubble wrap and double box. Super important. Especially if you're shipping anything to me or the museum. All right. This is a Vaseline fishbowl. And this probably went with, there's probably a chalkware piece in there that this went to. So Vaseline glass, it would have uranium in it and it would glow under black light. It doesn't give off any more radiation than the sun does. So I'm getting as much radiation standing here as what the bowl would give off. And we have tested it with Geiger counters. We've checked the scientific literature, but it's not going to harm me any more than sitting in the sun for half an hour. All right, so that is a cool Vaseline fishbowl. Who made it? That's a good question. That particular shape, I would have to get back to you on that. I've seen the manufacturer before. Of course, it's not Phoenix, it's not Gillinder, but it's not on the top of my tongue right now. All right, what do we got? The one thing with books too, I always put a piece of cardboard here. Because, you know, when I come like this with a razor blade knife, I sure hope I don't hit a book. So this is basically a box of books. And I think this came as a donation from an aquarist. And I'll have to get back to you because we've gotten so many books lately, I can't keep it all straight. But just an amazing amount of fish books. Let me just see if there's anything that just stands out. Obviously, this is The Crayfish by Huxley. This is Tropical Fish by Norbert Lieder. This is really old. Ooh, Bulletin of the United States National Museum, Department of Interior. Marine Species, Artificial Propagation, 1904. Report of the Director of the Aquarium. Pollution of Streams. Cultivation of Fishes in Natural and Artificial Ponds. Pretty cool. Some pretty cool stuff here. Of course, I've seen this one, Records of Changes in Color Among Fishes by Townsend, who was the director of the New York Aquarium for a while. So that, more books. But I know you guys don't want to see books, you want to see artifacts besides books. So hopefully we can find more. Okay, I think I know what this is. And I'm going to take a guess and say this is a bird cage because it's light. All right. Notice the large bubble wrap. He did a pretty good job packing because he overlapped the boxes, and that box is, I believe, super thick cardboard, might be double wall. So pretty good packing there. All right. So I'm sure it takes those guys hours to pack this, and they're watching me unpack it in just a few minutes. Oops. All right. Thank heaven it's fairly light. Ooh. And this is going to be a French bird cage in the Japonics or Japan style. Probably 1890s, I'm guessing. Colored glass, colored green glass. It's got bamboo on the sides. It's got brass feeders that actually open up here. It's got colored glass on the sides over here. It's really a beautiful cage. You know, definitely old. You know, they don't do brass feeders like this anymore, and they seldom use this green glass like that. And the glass is actually encased in a brass frame. That's interesting the way the glass works. I'm wondering what the purpose of that is. Huh. But this actually comes out. So it's not a rotating feeder, but it's a door feeder. And you put the little cup right here, and then you just close it. It's spring loaded. And then there's your seed, and then one of them's your water. It's a beautiful cage. It's got bells up here, little bells. But it's all like you can see the bamboo here. So it's Japonics or Japan style, which was huge, like about 1890, right in that genre, when really we were doing more trading with Japan at that time, and goldfish were really just becoming super popular. Bird keeping was already popular, but that was really the goldfish era. The big era was around 1890 to about 1920. All right, so that is a Japonics or Japan era bird cage, almost aviary size. I don't know if I could call it an aviary though. I don't think it's large enough to qualify as an aviary, but it is a really nice cage. Flight cage, you would have used it for finches. If you had like a few different finches, you would have used it for if you had a pair of parakeets. Really not parrots. I don't know if you want to put parrots in a cage like that. They probably chew the wood up. So most of the stuff on the top is light. So I'm guessing bird cages. So, you know, and I'm sure this is books. I'm not going to open all these book boxes down here because there's just too many of them. But what I will do is go through the books at a later date and have a really good thank you video for the person that sent those and go over some of the real iconic books, the ones that are the ones that everybody wants for their collection. I was thinking of doing a video of the 10 rarest books in English on the Aquarium. So that's just something I'm rolling around in my head. If that's something you guys want to see, drop me an email or a note on the site. Boop. This was made in Germany. It is a German bird cage. It is hand hammered, which was typical of Germany during the 1920s. They did a lot of this hand hammering in different items. But even the little feeder tray is hand hammered on the front. It doesn't say the manufacturer's name, but I have another example of this cage. So I know who the manufacturer is. I do know that it is German. It looks like it's broken loose there. But we could fix that. But I also have the stand that goes with this, which is really cool because it's seldom that you find an Art Deco era. And actually, even though that's from the Art Deco era, it's really arts and crafts. So arts and crafts kind of folded over. They overlapped the two different genres. But that definitely is arts and crafts. And the Germans had a lot of different arts and crafts items that they exported. One of them being bird cages, especially hand hammered like that one there. So that's a gorgeous cage. Let's see. Woo. I just love this. Let's move this cage over. This is a pet carrier. And we have a little collection of pet carriers. I want to do a video on those as well. But it's got like, it's very atomic, you know, it's very 1940-ish. You know, it's got a wood front here. It's got this little grill where the dog or cat could peek through. It's got the thing here, and it's got like a little chain. Not sure where the chain was for, but you could actually lock it. So if you're shipping your dog or your cat, you don't want anybody to mess with it. What's funny is the really old shipping crates had a place where you can pour water, and it went down a pipe and it filled the water dish. You didn't have to open it up if the dog was inside the crate. So I thought that was really a neat feature, but I don't see it in something like this. So I don't know how you could lock it unless you were taking a very short flight somewhere, like an hour, because, you know, you've got to water your animals. So this looks like it may have been put on afterwards. I'm not sure. That looks aluminum. Well, that is aluminum too, so maybe not sure on that one. But this is definitely atomic era, 1940s, with the original leather handle. Very cool. Cool little carrier for either cats or a very small dog. Jason, this would carry your Chihuahua if you ever visited. So there's that. All right. Oh, this is a good one because it says odds and ends. So we don't have any idea. It could be a lot of little stuff. Beep. Odds and ends. Whew. So we have stores that give us stuff. Like, see, that's Python Products. Lance, who sadly passed away a few years back. But it's the Python Man shirt. It's in fluorescent ink. Very cool. So, some Dynaflow trays. This is probably a store that just had a bunch of stuff and they gave it to us. A little Python bag. It looks like a... Woohoo, my favorite. There is an SS. Looks like a thermostat. SS from England. It's got the US plug. Huh, not sure. All right, you can put that over there. Seahorse handle. Everyone needs a seahorse handle. And this is a bag from Royal Pet Supply, listing a couple different companies: Seakim, All Glass, Repcal, A Miracle. Interesting. It is really a hodgepodge of different things. Ooh, this is heavy. So here you have a very cool piston pump. And I am going to do a video on pumps, starting with piston pumps and then going into vibrator type pumps. Again, universal electric motor. I can't tell you which one that is, but this is of course Danner. This is Danner Supreme. This is probably 1950s, and this one here definitely is 1960s, 1970s. That's Danner. And the rest, and let's see, is there anything else? That looks like a brine shrimp hatcher, probably 1960s. Another brine shrimp hatcher. Little corner filter. One more. And somebody, this was 1960s. Oh no, this is Python made this. So this is a ceramic ornament, terracotta, that went for your aquarium. And Python made that one. Very interesting. And just some VHSs on Tetra's video for a successful aquarium and video for a successful cichlid aquarium. Obviously 70s when cichlids were immensely popular. All right. More odds and ends. Do this really quick. Aquarium fish food. If you guys can remember this from the 60s, 70s, probably 70s. 59 cents. That's what it cost back then. Tubifex box, back when we had Tubifex. Keeping Tubifex worms in your refrigerator. Your wife loves you for that one, or your husband, whatever. But yeah, look at that. Crazy. Actually keeping Tubifex. Believe it or not, I like Tubifex because I'm allergic to black worms or brown worms, the ones that are raised in Central California. But I was never allergic to Tubifex, so I could handle Tubifex and have no reaction. But black worms, I start breaking out all red because I have super bad allergies about everything. But I thought it was really interesting that there's a place in Vietnam, and he's now farm raising, not like indoor farm raising, Tubifex worms for the Asian market. So I thought that was wonderful. It's like, what do you feed them? You know, how do you mass produce them that you can produce enough for that market? It's pretty amazing. Here's a Pinplex ornament. This is after the Jewel Box series. So this is a little thing coming out of a chest, little skull. Everyone loves Pinplex ornaments. And of course, piston pump by Supreme. This is a part for it. We will keep all our parts separate. So if we need parts, or if you guys out there need parts, let us know. Silver bird cage made in England. All right. Could be a Jenny cage. There's about 3 or 4 companies during the Deco era, all the way up to the 60s, that made cages. Made in England. But it doesn't say. So, pretty straightforward cage. Definitely 1960s. Not the usual wire that they use in England. Spring-loaded door. Glass, though. So this is probably mid-60s. Because they went to plastic. Plastic feeders on the sides. But I wonder if the feeders give us any indication of who it was. Let me look here. Yep, Clean-A-Cage. Ha! So this is our first Clean-A-Cage in the museum. I've seen the ads, but we've never had one. So yeah, it says on the feeder, Clean-A-Cage, made in England. So they didn't mark the outsides of the cages, but in this case, they did mark the feeders. And kind of an interesting name for a company, Clean-A-Cage. Like, okay, I will clean it. Give me a second. All right. Okay, so that was a Clean-A-Cage. Oof. I know this is the stand for that German arts and crafts cage. Ugh. Ah, this one you'll like. This is a 1920s Art Deco fishbowl stand. And it's affectionately called the shark stand, although it's really mythological dolphins. But what they've done is they've sort of taken and highlighted it to give it more of a real modern look. I've only seen maybe 3 of these. And all the collectors, I mean, the 3 that I've seen, the collectors, we all talk about it and go, oh, it's a shark stand. But it's really a dolphin. But it's missing the detail. They made another one that has detail on it. I'm not sure the company. I think it's the same company that made the Ruberamic stand. But you could see the bowl, which would be a Phoenix bowl, sits right here, be a Vaseline bowl. And then you've got this very straight line, stylized. There's the dolphin nose. But it looks kind of like a shark with these fins. You know, I mean, it's got sort of a shark feel to it, but it is dolphins. Very, very stylized. Not a common stand at all. And came in broken right here, which old cast iron snaps. It's just very difficult to ship. But my good buddy Rick can fix that. So that's a good thing. Ooh, lots of bubble wrap. Woo. So doing this in the sun like this, times like this that I wish I was in Ontario where it's a little bit colder because it's getting hot. Whew. Oh my God, is that heavy? Oh, that is one heavy stand. And that is one beautiful arts and crafts stand with the cage. Very arts and crafts. Very, look at how industrial, kind of a, very masculine. That's the word I was looking for. A very masculine stand. All right, so what do we have here? This is an aquarium. We don't know if it's a production model or if it's a fantasy piece. In other words, somebody made it. Somebody made it, they went to a lot of trouble. What's interesting is they glued a mermaid to a shell right here. So I'm sure with the lights on it and with the yellow glass that you can kind of see the reflection. Actually, the plant's glued there too. So you're going to see really an illusion with the goldfish and with the mermaid. So I'm guessing 1920s. If this was a production model, they probably made maybe 6 to 10. Otherwise, it was a one-off and it was a fantasy piece made by someone. It's very interesting, but it's typical of the Art Deco movement in the 20s, especially 1927, 28, where they used yellow Vaseline glass, especially wavy glass, to give you this illusion, you know, to make the goldfish appear, you know, almost mythical, you know, inside the tank. So you got the same thing. You have this sort of a wavy kind of a glass that's yellow. It's possible it's Vaseline glass. I'll take a black light to it later and see if it's Vaseline or not. But that's really interesting. Oh, and there is that. And the rest of these are books. Oh, we do have one more thing. This here is from Rosario Lacorte. This is a cabinet that he made for his fish room. And he had it in his fish room forever. When they broke down his fish room, they asked if we wanted it for the museum. We said sure. So they sent it to us. So this is a cabinet that Rosario made. And he's really a hero of mine. You know, he's in that small handful of greatest aquarists, you know, ever. And we do have him up as legendary status, like one of our legends. Him and Al Clay on the site. But Rosario is still alive and kicking, and he's going to be 95 years old this year. So I think it's going to be in March, so pretty soon, next month. Happy birthday, Rosario, in advance. And we really like that. And then next to it, one more thing. See if I can get this open. This is a 1920s, 1930s compressor that would have been used for a fish room. And the company, Bishop and Babcock of Cleveland, Ohio, July 22nd, 1913. So yeah, this is 1913. That's older than that. But this part says 1910, so it's got some 1910 parts on it, but 1913, and this would have been what they used to power a fish room back in the day. That's a classic piston air pump. Pretty cool. Okay, and let me just show you two things that Leo's working on in here really quick. Whoops. This is a Eagle tank. And I didn't like the fact that the glass didn't come up to under the ridge, and it was not Starfire glass or low iron. So I had Leo actually take the glass out and reseal it. So in a lot of these Eagle tanks, like this particular one, are missing this bottom grill. You know, the tank actually sits on this cast iron base right here, and the grills are broken. So I found a few of these tanks, but most of them with broken grills. This one actually has the grill. And then this here, which unfortunately it's covered because he had to replace the glass on it. This came from the Wayne Leibel collection, and it looks like a hexagon tank, but it's aluminum. So it's really odd to have an aluminum tank that's like an outdoor fountain aquarium. Well, it turns out this was a reproduction made by hen feathers in the 1960s. So this is not Victorian, it's 1960s. It was made by hen feathers, is the one that actually, they do a lot of reproductions, are still in business today, and they made it back then, and I think it was like $400 or $500 back in the day when they had it. But of course they're all gone. A lot of them just broke to pieces because they were lightweight aluminum. It's very light, it's not cast iron. So that's two things Leo's working on, and I think that's going to be it. And I actually came in here because it's nice and cool in here, it's not so hot. So I thank you guys. And have a lot of cool stuff coming up. We've got, of course, I haven't forgotten about the Jewel Aquarium video. We've got a lot of people with it we're basically going to interview. The list is long, including a legend in reptiles. We're going to try to get him in the next couple of months. That's Philippe de Vaugelay, amazing person. Going to do a cichlid video. Got a lot of cichlid stuff coming up, and interview somebody that was one of the founders, one of the big people in importing cichlids in the day. So that's all coming up in the next few months. Anyways, thank you for watching, and again, I'll see you again soon.
So this is the box that we all wait for every year. It comes from Eric. So we're gonna start unboxing in our 5-minute video. They did a fantastic job wrapping it. Look at this. Look at this photograph.
Wait a minute. They're making fun of me.
No, Gary, you did so well that we're imitating you. Oh, let's see.
It's a form of flattery.
Yeah, I don't cut my finger. Oh, my finger. I need a Band-Aid. Get me a Band-Aid. Oh, look. This is an ice pack, and here's the piece of resistance.
Oh my God, is that
Thank
chocolate?
you, Gary, and everyone at Zoom headquarters for all you do. Merry Christmas, Eric and Aaron. Look at this box. Look what a fabulous job they did.
Norman Love Confections.
And here we go.
Look at this. Is that incredible? Oh my God.
Worth the wait.
Chocolate doesn't get any better than this. Look at this. You gotta get a close up.
I know.
You gotta get a close up.
There.
Yeah, you got the new iPhone. Look at that. Is that amazing? Okay, now everybody get out of here and let me just eat some of it.